been only playing First Encounter. I know Second Encounter is pretty much expansion, but I still have a lot to say about it, so I'm gonna keep it for another video. Hopefully.
Well, better late than never, right?
Good morning, Babylon!
Alright, I'm finally talking about Serious Sam again. I think this video was cursed or something because I had to scrap it multiple times for various reasons. But you know what? Enough about it. Let's talk about Serious Sam, the second encounter. Also keep in mind that I'm not gonna repeat everything from the first encounter. So if you haven't already watched my review of it, do it before watching this one. All clear? Good, here we go. The second encounter kicks off where the first encounter ended. After a big final battle, Sam managed to get his hands on the spaceship and is now on his way to kill Mantle. Unfortunately, before he even manages to leave Earth, his ship gets hit by the game developers and he crashes in South America.
Oh my god, we're gonna crash!
What was that? Oh no, I'm going down. Going down where? Pyramids? Egypt! Egypt! No, not Egypt again!
Now Sam has to travel through 3 different time periods in 3 different environments in order to find another spaceship. Just like before, it's not a deep story, but it's a good premise to keep you going. And now, on to the presentation. Because the story takes place in 3 different environments, the visuals are even better than before because now you have much more variety. You have South America, Mesopotamia, and medieval Europe. All of these places look amazing, and the only issue is a popping of trees and bushes in some huge areas. And the variety doesn't just apply to the visuals. The music is now better than ever. And you know what? Fuck it! In my first encounter review I didn't show music, but now I will. So here is some music from the first encounter. It's just amazing. And now, here is some music from the second encounter. It's all amazing stuff. And now, with the great presentation behind us, let's finally talk about the gameplay. So just like before, the Secon Encounter is a first-person shooter where you fight hordes of enemies at the same time, and you have to fully utilize your arsenal, movement and tactics. But this time they have decided to spice things up with some new additions. First, we have the new weapons.
Look, Ma, I'm a lumberjack.
The chainsaw is great against swarms of weak enemies such as mudhoppers, and can even be used against single medium enemies. Oh, and you can parry reptiloid projectiles with it. The sniper rifle is good against medium enemies and from a distance, and most importantly, it makes arachnoids not an issue. Reptiloids are still pain in the ass though. Then we have the flamethrower, which is great against hordes of enemies. Most importantly, against clear hordes. If they get too close for your minigun, get ready to make some barbecue. And finally, we have a serious bomb. Just press a button and it kills all of the enemies that are currently alive. It's a great tool to get out of a bad situation, but they are very rare, so don't waste them. This new arsenal mixes things up and gets rid of those frustrating moments from the first encounter. You now have way more advantages at your disposal, but that's not everything. We have new enemies. Zorg mercenaries are soldier type enemies that fire projectile weapons. Don't worry, they're not hit scanning. That would be fucking stupid. Zambuls fire two fast rockets in two different directions. They're easy to avoid in the open, not so easy in tight spaces. Kukurbito the pumpkin is like a cross between a clear and a werewolf, and it's weak to grenade launcher. Stationary and rotating cannons fire the same cannonballs as your cannon does, and because of that they can one-shot you, so be careful. And finally, we have reptiloid demons that fire fast, indestructible projectiles that don't home in, as well as normal reptiloid projectiles. Along with the enemies, we also have three proper bosses this time. Kukulkan the Wind God, Exotic Larva, and Mordecai the Summoner. I gotta say, Kukulkan and Mordecai are actually pretty fun. They have fun gimmicky arenas, and the fights are a spectacle. Exotic Larva, on the other hand, not so much. It's in this boring room and it's more annoying than challenging. So we have new weapons and new enemies, and that's still not everything. We also have power-ups. Serious speed allows you to go much faster, which is useful for both the combat and the exploration. Serious damage makes you do more damage, allowing you to destroy hordes of enemies faster. And invulnerability makes you invincible. And it has the attribute of being so rare, I almost forgot it's in the game. With the new weapons, new enemies and the power-ups, the combat is now better than ever. Our favorite large open areas and small closed-off areas are back and also better than ever. And it's along with those more linear areas where you have to thwart enemy ambushes. It's overall just a fun serious sim gameplay we all know and love. Except there's even more here. You see, the Secon Encounter also has few new additions to the level design. First, traps. In some areas you will have to deal with traps, and sometimes you'll even have to fight between them. These are usually pretty fun. Second are the gimmick rooms. In few levels you have to fight enemies while also dealing with an environmental gimmick. Some of them are decent, like fighting on a frozen lake. Some are cool but don't control all that well, like the anti-gravity room. And then there are the bouncing areas. They're terrible, annoying and easily the worst part of the game. They're more about luck than skill and I hate that. There's also a few platforming areas. Some of them are okay, but some are really annoying because these controls are not made for platforming. Thankfully, I saved the best for last, the corridors of death. In these levels, enemies spawn at the end of the arena as you're trying to push through. As the battle goes on, enemy numbers increase and even stronger enemies join the fun. It's important for you to use the right weapon so you don't run out of ammo and be on the lookout for ammo and power-ups. And if you end up getting overwhelmed, only your precious Sirius bomb can save you. These levels are just a blast to play. In fact, they're so good that even half of the final level is a huge corridor of death. And let me tell you, it's absolutely amazing. But even with all of this, some people still think this game has absolutely no depth. Well, first, you can see my gameplay. Second, I already talked about it in my previous video. And third, this time I brought a fellow Sam fan who can describe the gameplay better than I ever could.
On the surface, Serious Sam seems to be a dumb shooter, but with the diverse roster of enemies and weapons, there is a method to the madness. Where Sam is the brawn, the player is the brain. It's up to you to decide where to move, what to kill, and how to kill it.
Huge thanks to Rainbowhawk for letting me use this clip. Please check out his Sam videos and his new review channel. The links are in the description. So yeah, this is the core gameplay formula. And with all of the new additions and varied environments, it's easily the best Serious Sam has ever been. The gunplay is still extremely satisfying and the enemies are fun to destroy. It's just an amazing game. It's also pretty fucking funny. Yeah, this time around we actually have a lot of cartoony humor. In case you forgot, the game starts with the game developers crashing into Sam's ship. This also factors into level design. Because the game is so cartoony and over the top, you will find yourself in really over the top crazy scenarios. It's also worth mentioning that Sam now speaks more than before.
To be or not to be? That is a serious question. Oh, I wish my TV had a stand like that. Hey, didn't I kick your ass 2 rooms back?
I also gotta give credit here. After a long underwater sequence, you get a reference to Tomb Raider 2. And that's an automatic point from me. With everything said, I love Serious Sam the Second Encounter. It takes everything the first one did and improves upon it. And despite some experimental missteps, it's a great game from start to finish. I absolutely recommend it. Okay, the second encounter is done. Next time, we'll return to the Wild West. So thank you for watching, and I will see you then.